Hi guys, Tess here. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to be joined by James shortly. He's just running a little bit late tonight. So first of all, can everyone hear and see me okay? If so, please write yes in the chat. Awesome, Jay, Rolanda. I think we've had you at one of our other sessions. Welcome back. Thanks for coming again. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Cool. Let's get started. We've decided to structure things a little bit different. Excuse me. Tonight we had some great feedback that creating a topic around tonight's discussion was well received. So tonight's topic is going to be why intelligent guys suck with women. So we find a lot of the clients that we work with are these really highly educated, more analytically brained type men. And we see a lot of the same mistakes that these guys are making. So this could be really relevant for you guys. Yeah, if you like, if anyone has any questions straight off the bat, feel free to put them in the chat for me. I'll refer to those as we go. But I've kind of made a list of, I've got like seven things, my top seven things, which are the most common things I see with these types of men. So I'll be going through those things. Yeah, and feel free to add any questions as I go. Anything that's relating to these pointers that I'm giving you guys. Or anything else that you want help with tonight as well. I'm here to just give you guys as much value as possible. So, thanks, David. Awesome to see you here. Cool. Cool. Number one, I'm gonna say number one is energy. So for men who are potentially sitting in the office all day, we get a lot of accountants, engineers, these types of guys, sitting in the office all day, not talking to other people, sedentary sort of lifestyle, mainly. When we find them going out to try and meet women and be social in general, unless they've done some sort of warm up, like go to the gym or um, have a really great conversation with a friend or family member before they go out, just to get the energy flowing, get the blood moving, we find that energy can be really, really low. So, when you're going out to a bar on a Friday, Saturday night, and you're competing with loud music, lots of people, there's a lot of energy in that environment. You really need to bring that energy to make an impact and make a strong first impression when you're approaching a woman. So, competing with all of that environmental energy, when you've been sitting down all day, not talking to anyone, just kind of in your analytical frame of mind, it can be really hard for you to go straight from that cold social state into, um, into being social and making a great impression straight off the bat. So warming up is really, really important. And that might look like a lot of different things for different people. So whether it's moving your body, like going to the gym for an hour or just going for a run, or like I said, calling a good friend of yours, having a great conversation just to get things going before you try and speak to people who you've never met before. Yeah, so did anyone have any comments on that? Does anyone relate to that? How you feel after you've just been I don't know, maybe you play a lot of video games and you sit at home all day and then try to go out that evening, and you've experienced what that feels like to go from that really cold social state to trying to be um socially engaging, and it just doesn't really work. Can anyone here relate to that? If you can, say yes, I relate in the chat, or if you guys have any further questions around that as well, let me know. Also general questions, anything that's a real sticking point for you guys. Feel free to just chuck that in the chat for us as well. I'm happy to help you guys with whatever your particular needs are. Yeah, so that's a big one. Okay. Second of all, I had thanks, Martin. Yes, I can relate. Awesome. And it looks like James is going to be joining us right now. Let's see if he comes on. Otherwise, I'll hop on to my pointer number 2. Okay. Okay, we'll move on. So, pointer number 2 is just being over analytical in general. So, when you're trying to build rapport with a woman, you've introduced yourself to her, you're trying to build rapport, get the conversation going, try to make a strong impression. Or this can happen even on dates, whether you're speed dating or you've lined up a first date after making contact with someone on a dating app, that sort of thing. Being too analytical in your conversation, as in asking lots of closed-ended questions or uh, multiple choice, like, oh, so hey, or tell me more about what you like about yoga. Is it the health aspect? Is it the exercise? And by by having that natural analytical frame of mind where you're just trying to figure things out, which is usually just trained into you based on your occupation, you're leading to a narrowing of the topic and making it really hard to get bonus information out of the woman to keep the conversation flowing and developing and flourishing. So, yeah, being over analytical can really get you into a dead end, and that's where a lot of guys really struggle. They think that um, I'm really bad at speaking to women just because they don't give themselves those options. So yeah, facts and data type questions. If I were to say, yeah, I'm really into surfing, I love surfing, and then um, often questions, these analytical type questions might be, oh yeah, so how long have you been surfing? Or what sort of board do you ride? Or um, what else? What kind of conditions are good for surfing? These sorts of, yeah, facts and data questions where it's like, okay, you might get a little bit of information out of that, but really you're not getting a lot to work with. I might say, oh yeah, I've been um, surfing for 3 years or however many years it might be, but you're not really getting any of the backstory around that or what my passion is around surfing or yeah, any of that juicy like story that's going to give you a lot more to work with. So as example of an open-ended, more feelings and emotions type question might be, yeah, so what is it about surfing that you love so much? How did you actually get into surfing? Tell me about the best wave you've ever caught. And you can see how those sorts of questions would get a lot stronger. Um, it's just a lot higher value. You get a lot more out of me. I've got to actually tell you this story about the best wave I've ever caught, and you're likely to get a lot of energy out of me as well. So welcome, James. Thanks for joining us.
Huge apology,
I've
guys.
just been yeah, we've got a few guys here, some regulars who we've seen a couple of times, and some new faces, it seems like. I've
Fantastic.
just started going through our topic for tonight, which was why intelligent guys suck with women. And I got to my number 2 point. Number 1 was energy. And number 2 was just being too analytical and using facts and data style questions in conversation.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. This is what we planned anyway. You can hear the pretty girl, ex-catwalk model with 2 degrees start off. So I'll jump in a bit. Leave everything to Tess.
Okay, great. I'll just look through some of the questions here. I can relate. Martin, very cool. Luke, being too intense, need to keep it lighthearted. Absolutely. Yeah. And that can come from when you're being, yeah, when you've been sitting in the office all day and you're trying to do problem solving and, yeah, and then then you try to go and be lighthearted in a social setting. It doesn't really work unless you've done some sort of warm up, like I spoke about before. Um, Tess, my friend, never asks anything. As in just get stuck in conversation. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously any question's better than no question, but obviously we want to be focusing on those open-ended feelings and emotion style questions that I spoke about. Um, and oh yeah, Martin, he said only statements. So yeah, the issue with statements is um if I were to say I love surfing and you say, "Oh yeah, surfing's good for exercise." You're really just relying on the fact that the woman's going to be polite and engaging and sort of elaborate from there and either agree or disagree with you rather than you actually engaging with what she's giving you and showing that you're interested by asking good questions about it. So yeah, you need to take ownership and yeah, be more engaging to get the woman to open up to you. Otherwise, you're really just relying on her to be nice, which, a lot of women, they don't want to do the hard work. It's that she's going to be enjoying herself more if this is easy for her. And you've just got her in the state where she's absolutely loving the conversation, having a great time with you. And, you know, in the back of her mind, she's thinking, oh, this guy's great. I'm having a great time. I want to get to know him more. I'm having a great night. Yeah. So feel free. Thanks, Martin. Thanks for the support there. Any other comments or questions around that, guys? Otherwise, I'll move on to my number three. So number three, or James, did you want to add anything there?
How many points do you have in total? I should say we don't plan this. Um, so Tess does her list, I do my list, then we compare. So it's very, very genuine what's happening going on here. So how many have you got on your list, Tess?
I've got seven tonight.
Okay. If you've got any questions outstanding, answer them for the guy now. If not, I might just jump in and give my top three, and then you can take the floor from there.
Yeah, no, it looks like I'm up to date with the questions. So yeah, feel free to add what you'd like.
Okay, I've got no idea what Tess said, which I think give us feedback about the model that works for you. But I think that's one of the joys of this. Just a big, big thanks to the Catwalk model for yeah, stepping in when we had some tech. I think I said I'm planning to do boot camps in Indonesia, so I'm here scouting and doing a bunch of stuff. But anyway, let's get back to you guys. Okay, smart guys. Okay, women feel. I've literally dated a girl with an IQ of 155 who was a prodigy, a literal prodigy. Um, and yeah, I'd tell her which was the best mobile plan for her with whatever mathematical skill I have. She had many IQ points on me. Um, and yeah, but she's still an emotional creature. She might be able to destroy nearly any man in a debate, but she's still very much an emotional creature who gets ups and downs. So what smart guys do is they tend to overthink and overanalyze everything because that's what you're really good at. So you'd much rather sit and analyze a situation, study it, and come up with the best solution rather than acting. Now, this can be good when you're putting up a building or writing code or trying to solve someone's heart issues or you're a brain surgeon. um, you want to plan and do things carefully, but when you got to go talk to women, or in many cases when you want to run a successful business, you just got to act and get the feedback from acting and then pivot from there and then keep going. So yeah, women feel they're such emotional creatures. You just can't even imagine how emotional creatures they are. So yeah, it's a huge problem with most men, but the higher up the IQ scale they are, particularly with logical intelligence, the worse it gets for them. Um, the next thing, I think this is because a lot of smart guys, particularly in the age group I sort of cater to, sort of 35 and up, 40s, 50s, 60s, um, in order to maximize your brains, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, even 2010s, it was a pretty good idea to stay at university a long time and do whatever engineering, medicine, or commerce, or philosophy, or something. So, a lot of the smart guys of my generation and generation after, and certainly generation before, um, yeah, we're just trained by the university system, and I don't want to upset anyone. Any university professors on? I mean, it's hopeless. They're not teaching you anything in most cases. So I mean, my first degree, which is a commerce degree, is almost a complete waste of time, other than one unit, maybe three or four others that were useful. But yeah, we're just taught to go into classrooms and study and remember things, and occasionally solve problems, and pass tests. So we're just passing tests, passing tests, passing tests. So we're so programmed that we don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to make any mistakes. So many highly educated guys, vis-a-vis, dare I say, some blue collar guys, or a lot of guys who just worked in cafes or bars or whatever they did, we really hate rejection because we don't like failing. Because if you fail, if you get a bunch of stuff wrong in a test, you fail. Whereas, if you get a bunch of stuff wrong trying to go talk to and date women, you succeed massively because, that's just the way it goes. So they try to avoid rejection instead of experiencing it and learning from it. Again, if you want to learn to be a great boxer or a great cage fighter, you're like, oh, I'm going to figure out a way to never get hit. These guys are never going to hit me. I'm so smart. I'll come up with a way. Muhammad Ali couldn't do that. Joe Frazier nearly killed him and potentially gave him Parkinson's. So yeah, if Muhammad Ali can't figure out a way that you can't get hit, then who on earth's ever going to do that? And it's the same with girls. I mean, I've been rejected harshly, like harshly, once in my life, and most of the other times, nearly every other time I got rejected, it was either, okay, that girl got out the wrong side of the bed and she's a bit not happy today, or maybe something about me upset her. Um, but usually what happens is I go, oh, yeah, my energy wasn't high enough. I came in from a bad angle. Yeah, I started asking closed-ended questions or statements. So I mean, yeah, I'm trying to whatever promote something, but yeah, it's just part and parcel of the game. The next thing is you guys just dislike small talk and networking. I'm not saying every single intelligent man is exactly the same as what's on James's and Tess's list. Just like, not every woman's Amber Heard and not every woman's a wonderful girl to date either. Um, yeah, generally smart guys like, what's the point of going to some party and just going, hey, how's your weekend? Yeah, well, what's up? What's up? Did you see the footy? It's so pointless. I could be figuring something out, having a deep conversation with someone. And this was definitely me. No doubt about it. Zero doubt about it. Um, but yeah, it's just not going to work that way. It's a skill you just got to have. You just got to have small talk. Small talk's the wrong word. It's communication skills to quickly uncover stuff that uncover commonalities. So much of what we do. Actually, you should put the link in now, Tess. Yeah, part of the opportunity of coming to these is you get a chance to get something worth $1,500 for nothing. $1,500 a date with my very, very best female coach. Can't go to the website, try to buy this, it'll cost you $1,500. You get it for nothing off these YouTube lives. So all you got to do is just tell us, I can't remember what it's age and occupation, and just tell us that. And yeah, you can be going on a date with this ex-model, 2 degrees, expert dating coach. So anyway, back to my point. Yeah, it's small talk and social networking. That's essentially what Tess is going to start putting you through your paces on and studying tomorrow. Or sorry, whenever you get to talk to her, I haven't checked her calendar. So yeah, it's just you're sort of mining for gold. You go out to places and you talk to a bunch of people, and many of them are boring, some of them are yucky, but occasionally you get a connection, and that's what you're sort of farming for. And as you get better and better and better at this, you realize, I can much more likely to meet my next girlfriend in the literature section or the philosophy section of a bookstore than I am pretty much anywhere else, particularly if it's a modeling city like New York or something where the smarter models are hanging out in cafes. Anyway, I might just jump in with the last one because that is something that, no, we'll stop and compare Tess's list before we do that. So, Tess, how are we going comparing and contrasting and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, James. Yeah, thanks for your comments there. I really like yeah, I guess your approach is a little bit more around like storytelling and who this actual person
Definitely.
is, which is awesome. I was more giving, I guess my list is more from a coaching perspective and what I
Ah,
see most regularly with these sorts of clients. So I was going through the top my top sort of approach and conversation pointers with these types of guys that I see. Um, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, your list is every bit as valid as mine because I'm guessing most of the guys on this call would love to take you on a date and probably somewhere else after the date. Whereas if you'd like to do that with me, you don't have much taste and you're on the wrong call. You're on the wrong YouTube live. So yeah, your views are 100% valid. Um, Okie dokie. Well, I haven't checked in on the questions after a bit of stress at the start. Have you read through the comments? Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty up to date, James, with the questions. So I think yeah, I think someone made a comment about speed dating. That's kind of where we're at. And and we've got someone asking about boot camps as well. Someone who's done an event with you about 10 years ago.
Adam, I remember the name. It's a shame we can't get him up and give him a refreshing coach. We can do that soon. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, September 25th to 28th. I've had a bunch of staff away. Models fly north for the winter, which is the bane of my existence with winter boot camps, particularly after COVID dropped it down. So 25th to 28th of September. I'm working quite hard, which is why I'm where I am now, on having late August, early September, um, Bali boot camp, which you'll be just, you can't even bloody imagine. The girls that are here now, it's just coming into peak season. It's ridiculous and it's so much easier when they're on holidays. So yeah, 25th to 28th of September, and maybe in August one, potentially in Bali. And yeah, the step is we don't definitely don't take everyone who applies for the boot camp on. We tend to take a fair percentage, but yeah, we sort of make sure that you're girl friendly and coachable, and you do a date with Tess first. So yeah, again, did you put the yeah, Tess is wonderful. She put the link in the chat. So yeah, if you we love your questions, we love your questions. That's what we're here for. I've said this stuff thousands of times to guys, so hearing my own voice doesn't really turn me on that much. So yeah, if we don't have any questions, I mean, surely, I mean, I tend to attract very smart guys. My top three is women feel, you guys analyze, overthink. You fear rejection and failure, possibly because of school and university, and you dislike small talk and social networking. Tess, just run through your top three, please.
Yeah, so my first one, as I said, was the energy. Yeah, just going from being yeah, sedentary and in your problem solving analytical frame of mind into trying to be social. That's an issue. Then I said being over analytical in your approach to conversation and rapport building as well. So focusing more on the facts and data, you know, multiple choice questions, closed-ended questions, rather than the
Second one.
feelings and emotions open-ended stuff. And then number three was being too polite. We find that these really intelligent, educated guys, they're really polite and really formal in the way you speak. So that can come across as just trying too hard. And also, uh, um, yeah, it's just a bit fake, you know? So we want to just keep it really simple and use colloquial language, nothing too overly structured or too formal, which can take away a little bit from the way you might be perceived in terms of masculinity. So, yeah, that was my number three. Um, keep it simple.
Terrific, terrific, terrific. Well, if that doesn't trigger any questions, I'm not sure what happens. Anyway, that's okay. We will have Tess go into her next points. So that's
Yeah.
her top three. Let's see her top four. By the way, I've been in a wheelchair for a fair period of time. I won't go into details later. If someone wants to ask a question, I'll tell them. So yeah, if I look like I'm lounging around like some sort of pretend alpha male, I apologize for that. Excuse the backdrop's not as whatever pretty or fancy as my apartment in Bondi Beach.
Thanks, James. So number four for me was mansplaining. So this is where basically guys just try to impress with what they know rather than impressing with actually making the woman feel listened to and heard and engaged with. So yeah, oftentimes, if a guy asks, what was the highlight of my last weekend? I might talk about some of my biggest hobbies and interests, and rather than him actually engaging with what I've given him and asking me more questions, getting me excited, he just starts rattling off everything he might know about the topic or his experience in that topic. Yeah, which is just a bit of a mood killer for the woman. So uh yeah, the biggest thing is so many guys think, oh, well, when she gives me a topic that I know nothing about, I just steer away from it because how can I converse about something I know nothing about? When really that's actually the biggest opportunity, because you know nothing about it, that you can ask all these great questions, showing that you're interested and yeah, want to know more about this thing that's so exciting to her. So, yeah, that's a big one. Any comments there, James?
Maybe do one more.
Cool. Next one is slowing down and using pauses. So with, yeah, a lot of you really intelligent guys, um, because you're so um quick-minded, often I'll be speaking or the woman will be speaking and you've already got your next question lined up to the point where you might interrupt her or um
Line 502.
uh yeah, just
Trim I can see.
yeah, you take away from actually listening to her. And so that can also come across as overexcitement or nervousness when you're jumping in really quickly like that. Um, so guys who really just take their time, use pauses, uh, think about the way they want to structure their sentence before you blurt out whatever it is you want to say. Um, that's super sexy. A guy who's not in a rush, not obviously trying to, just put her on a pedestal and impress her with everything you know. Um, that's sexy too. It shows that, okay, this guy's, he has there's perceived value there. So yeah, slow down, take your time. Don't be in a rush. Number six was potentially low social intelligence, not being able to read women's signals. Yeah, I don't know why that comes hand in hand with the more analytical brained men. Um, yeah, I guess because what James was saying before, that women are emotional creatures. That's the way we think is around relationships, emotions, yeah, how we relate to the people around us. Um, so yeah, we're kind of the opposite of that problem-solving analytical mind. This is obviously broadly speaking. Um, but yeah, I guess men not being able to relate to that or empathize with women when you're trying to just figure things out rather than relate to her on an emotional level. That can be an issue with building authentic connection. So yeah, obviously, anytime you can point out commonality between you and the woman, that helps to build trust, helps to build that authentic connection. Um, and yeah, anytime you point out those commonalities, a woman's thinking, oh, okay, we've got all of these things in common. Potentially, we could, this guy could be my next boyfriend. We would enjoy spending time with each other because we're like-minded. So that's really important. And yeah, and then a big one, number 7. Sorry, I'll just
Actually, we
quickly,
might jump in. We might leave
yeah,
some
yeah.
mystery. We might put you one more. I've had a few issues to sort out in the background while you're doing such a great job. Could you possibly just pop your list into Telegram, please?
Yeah,
So
sure.
I've been doing stuff in the background. So thank you so much, Tess.
No
Um,
worries.
very experienced coach. Um, so did I say computers? No. My number 4 is just being on computers. Um, I I've done boot camps for 19 years, and when I first did it, I just traveled around the world and just did boot camps. I mean, I was awesome at this, like ridiculous. The stuff I did in terms of models and threesomes and stuff, and that I just got from a boot camp. Um, but then I started running my own business, and I started spending all this time on the computer. What I found I needed to do was I needed to literally take all day Thursday off, preferably Wednesday off, and go for a long run and do some exercise and go to the beach and eat some healthy food, maybe even get a massage, maybe finish off watching a movie or catch up with someone or have sex or, so I had to get myself away from this effing device. Um, so yeah, if you're stuck like this, tapping away on the computer now, particularly if you're sort of on spreadsheets or coding or doing really complicated logical stuff, if you're doing that, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, it's extremely difficult to suddenly just, okay, I'm going to be really social now. Um, so I would strongly consider that, yes, keeping screen time away from socializing time. And that also includes your phone as well. You don't want to be out at night just sitting looking at the phone the whole time because I find that just puts your energy in such a small place. Um, just wondering if there's any comments on that. Um, 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 oh, thank you so much, Rafe. Lovely comment from you on YouTube. I haven't got around to answering them. I've been a bit remiss with the comments. Thank you so much, Martin. Um, 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 I can't pronounce your name, RFG. Thank you so much. Oh, from Deutschland. Berlin's one of my favorite cities in the world. Steve Tier, Jeff Mack. I think Jeff Mack's a client with a pseudonym. Um, Okie dokie. Next one is, oh, great question from Rafe. I'll answer that. Can't wait to answer that. Stuck in heads. Um, Actually, I might just answer Rafe's question now because I don't want to stop what I'm doing and do that. Um, Probably the greatest regret of my life. I mean, not staying and running this business in New York when I had so many friends in New York and so many girls in New York and studied acting in New York and a bunch of models in New York and I loved everything about it. Um, that's probably the biggest regret of my life. But even more is I never had children. I don't know, are there any, oh, we don't have any girls on today. That's funny. We usually get a bunch. Um, when I say a bunch, I mean two. Um, yeah, I mean, in my travels, in my 30s, I met 6 women. That if I'd met them now, I'd probably impregnate them within 2 years. Um, but I just living in Bondi Beach, living in Australia, I just haven't met anything remotely that I would even consider. I haven't even met my top 10. I haven't met a girl in my top 10. Maybe not even top 20. So, I mean, I like a beautiful girl as much as anyone, and more than my fair share of models. Um, but yeah, honesty is the most important thing. But one of the biggest metrics for me is intelligence. I just really struggle to not have that. And when I say intelligence, the top 6 women of my life have all been huge readers of literature, and like the greatest woman of my life, not the love of my life. I mean, she was just devouring the stuff from, I mean, she'd read, I won't even go into it now. She'd read, she was like smarter at age 20 than anyone I've ever met in Australia by far. Really, anyone I've ever met in the world, other than maybe a PayPal founder. Um, so I would have loved to have kids, and that it's a dream of mine still. One of the reasons I'm sort of in Indonesia trying to plan a business with Bali boot camps, maybe Mexico or whatever, Hungary boot camps or something. Um, Residentials, much bigger things. Is because yeah, I want to meet the mother of my children. That if I die, I've done a lot in my life, but if I die without having done that, I'll not be a particularly happy camper. So yeah, great question. Um, so yeah, and because of whatever luck I've had with women, I'm extremely fussy. I mean, that you wouldn't believe some of the girls. I'm like, oh, I can't really be bothered. One of the things I have found being very promiscuous in my 30s and early 40s is I just don't really value, I don't pursue sex like I used to. It's like girls that I'd have hunted down with a vengeance, like models that I would have gone after with all I had a few years ago. I don't really even bother with now because I've got other stuff to do, and if she's not Mrs. Right, um, I'm not that intent on pursuing them, which drives a bunch of my friends in their 30s. It just baffles them. Um, so yeah, that's a great question. I've had that before. So yeah, there's the old metric, anyway. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a good reason. So I'm really desperately hoping that I can meet the Russian girl from cultural elite of St. Petersburg, who's very beautiful, who is also a very honest and decent person, and surround myself with kids and dogs and who knows. There's another question coming through. How to hurt myself? I'll do that a bit later. Martin's saying he loves American and Canadian European women. Yeah, Montreal has some of the best girls in the world. And any guy who's got half of a thing going for him moves to Toronto or New York or something. So they're all just left there for the tourists. I've had a field day every time I've gone there. I've met a model and many more than that. But yeah, in summer, oh my God, that place is absolutely wonderful. It's like the best of Europe and the best of America. And yeah, the women are not quite Russian standard, but they're really up there. So much more feminine and attractive than pretty much any city in America, I found. New York's got the super smart ones, which I love. Um, okay, stuck in their heads. Okay, back to my list. um, Intelligent guys are stuck in their heads. You're constantly trying to figure women out like there's some algorithm. Again, it's back to you don't realize how emotional they are. Um, and you're trying to figure them out. It's like some algorithm you're trying to solve. It just doesn't work like that. Um, so, so what's happening with so many intelligent guys is your mind's just when you should be 100% focused on her. Picking up women, sorry, I shouldn't use that term. It's kind of like meditating. You've just got to take your mind when she's talking and take your feelings and take your heart and leave your groin out of it, unless until it's late stage of closing. And you've just got to give her everything. You got to give her all your attention. You've not just got to listen to what she's saying. You got to feel what she's feeling, and that's when you can start to just kill it when you become that really good, deep, empathetic listener. Um, and yeah, bit of I've had so many women try to try to kiss me just because I've been such a good listener. And you need to combine that with a little bit of touch, and you're doing really, really well. So yeah, if you're stuck in your head going, oh, she did this or she did that, or am I doing real good or am I doing bad or something? I mean, you're just not going to have that sort of connection. So yeah, one of the greatest, one possibly the most underrated skill in all of human existence is the ability to listen really, really, really well. Because of my background in sort of relationship, high ticket selling, in finance, that I managed to develop that skill pretty well in finance, which served me possibly better than anything else in my 27-year-old virgin, 31-year-old without any more sex, never had a girlfriend to whatever, within 18 months I was with a fly around the at least fly around the Americas model, who's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Yeah. So intelligent guys, men in general, you got to get out of your heads. I must say, anyone who fell into any of that PUA stuff, they made it dramatically worse. Just dramatically worse. Um, I'll cross-reference against Tessa's list soon, which I sadly missed some of. I'm very disappointed with that. Um, they often lack. I got to keep remembering. Tess, can you chuck that the two links in? Um, one, I'm sorry, it's about. I mentioned my tech girl wasn't there. One is our best piece of content ever that's been seen by probably 2 million people and changed their lives. I've had guys who've watched it 100 times. Um, I've got an unedited version of that with a bunch of extras and a bunch of explanation from me that if you just give us your email, we'll get to you tomorrow. I hope you guys do coaching with us at some point. But man, the value you get out of that. So if anyone chucks their email in, sorry the link's so amateur. I've had a potentially the worst month of my life and haven't organized and run this business as well as I should have. So my tech person wasn't there to do it for me. But yeah, I can't overemphasize how good that is. And one other thing I forgot to say is we're having a huge sale in June. It's going to be our best boot camp prices. I mean, probably in 15 years. It's going to be good. We did anyway. It's the best boot camp prices in 15 years, other than maybe at COVID, we gave them away quite inexpensively. So yeah, big sale. To explain, because of construction in Bondi and because of two very, very bad hires, I've had my lowest income year, I don't even know, since 2011 or something. So yeah, whatever revenue comes into the business, I get to keep a hell of a lot more of it than any other time, maybe since 1 year in COVID. So yeah, if you have any interest in getting coaching and money's any sort of an issue, now's the time. Okay, so stuck in their heads, we've done that. They often lack masculinity. Give us feedback, guys, as well. Maybe I should make my point, then Tess can do some comments. I think we'll do that. Stuck in their heads, trying to figure out women like they're an algorithm. Tess, I think you
Yeah.
touched on that. Do you want to jump in and just give me whatever a minute
Yeah,
debunk
yeah,
or summary
sure,
about
Jay.
that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what I see with a lot of the clients as well is that um when I'm trying to teach them skills as well, they get so in their head trying to yeah, overthinking all the different possibilities for questions they could ask or that they actually just freeze up as well. It's so, so common. So it is just that, processing all this new information and also, I find like intelligent guys have this, they put a lot of pressure on themselves. They have this, that like maybe like kind of perfectionism, and which can really, really hold them back. Um, because, yeah, like they're just in their heads too much. I completely agree with that.
Fantastic. Just checking we haven't missed any comments. How did you hurt yourself? I might do it later. Martin loves Canadian women, a few others. Lurcher test, did you say men can't read women's signals? Do you mean we can't read body language or men can't seem to pick up on emotional cues and relate to and emphasize on an emotional level on body language? Probably all of the above, but I'll let the former
Yeah.
model handle that. Great
Yeah.
question, Luke. Can't wait to handle it. Go for it, Tess.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, reading women's body language, yeah, that's really, really important at the approach stage. If you walk into a venue and you scan the room and you can't see which women want to be approached and which women don't want to be approached, that's an issue. And but then also same with if you were um trying to escalate with her and you're not picking up on her signals for whether that's something she wants more of or something she's not okay with, that's a huge issue. And yeah, yeah, being able to relate and empathize with her on an emotional level, that is really, really important for building authentic connection with someone. As I said, we've said this multiple times tonight, women are emotional creatures. So if you're able to empathize with them and relate to them on that level, um, yeah, you're potentially building a really strong connection, which is It's going to be beyond just some superficial interaction where you had maybe had a good conversation, but it's you didn't really get deeper than that. Um, uh, so yeah, all of the above, that's all really, really important. Some of it more so in the early part of the interaction and some more, when you're going to the depths of really getting to know someone. Um, yeah.
Great, good answer. I think Tess has done a great job. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things we teach. Huge in terms of the exponential results we get out of it when guys start reading women's signals. Just to give you an example, I was at one of my advanced events and we did a really good job of teaching women's signals, and guys got a chance to see signals and come up with an approach. Um, and yeah, it's much harder for shorter men. There's no doubt about that. So on that event, we dressed them and we had intense reading signals. And all these guys under 5'6", like 5'3" in some cases, were saying, "Oh my God, women are just checking me out all the time. I've never had this much attention in all my life. It's like I'm at the groceries, I'm doing this, I'm at the gym, and all these girls are checking me out and looking at me. I can't believe it. What's happened? What's happened? What's happened?" Now, if a guy was like 6'4" and looked good, that would make a lot of sense. In a great body or whatever, was in a beautiful suit. But yeah, for shorter guys, and I can talk a lot about how it's hard for shorter guys and how to deal with it. So I'm not putting you down by any stretch. But yeah, for shorter guys to be getting all this feedback, again, I've got to be careful. I'm not being conceited, but I have done hundreds of boot camps, at least well over 100, and I don't know, 100 plus workshops as well. Yeah, and I've been rejected. Let's be clear, I've been rejected. I've been rejected. Um, but yeah, particularly when I started doing this, and I wasn't really running the business and managing that many people, the number of times I walked in somewhere or walked into a bookstore, and I got a testimonial about this from one of my early clients. He said, "Oh my God, he's like a magician. It's magic what he does. He just walks up to any girl and they love him. And oftentimes he takes them home if he's got a chance. And, I saw him meet this model in a whatever in a bar or in the street, and he had her in bed in 2 days. This guy's got magic tricks. Yeah, I mean, I've been practicing pretty hard for my whole travels in getting these skills after being woeful for a long time. Um, but the real thing, the thing I had that no other man did, is I've made most of my money in life, like the majority of it, public speaking, if you call this public speaking, and then getting some sort of, I shouldn't tell you this, getting some sort of appointment out of it, and then turning that into a client, and then trying to do a really good job of looking after the client, getting referrals off them. Um, so yeah, and that's given me the skill of reading body language at a fairly extreme level for a guy, I would suspect. I could probably go on TV and call myself a body language expert and know quite a bit more than many of the body language experts, I would suggest. So yeah, that's one of the most important skills. We're here to help you, but yeah, in the program we do, we've got an amazing online training on reading signals, which we had more great feedback about that than even the sex training we give our new clients. So that's pretty special, and guys absolutely adore the conversation and the dating training, particularly working with Tess as well. So yeah, that's a great question. I might handle Luke's too. You can probably tell I much prefer answering questions other than saying stuff I've said 5,000 times before. Slight exaggeration. Luke, has your age ever held you back, James? Have girls ever commented on not having a relationship because of an age group? Um, oh, Luke, you might need to give me more detail on that. Have girls said, "Oh, at your age, you should be in a serious relationship"? Or have girls ever commented on not having a relationship because of an age group? I don't really understand the second bit, so if you could let me know that, please. But
I
yeah,
think he means, sorry, sorry, I think Luke means, has anyone ever held back from jumping into a relationship because of the age gap with you?
relationship? No. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've had comments about I've approached girls, and that might a few years ago before I had this might have gone well. Um, and it didn't go that well. It could be because I've whatever had a business and problems with COVID. So yeah, it would be a complete utter grotesque lie to say it hasn't affected me. But I think the net effect is it's probably helped me. It's probably helped me. Again, you guys' questions, particularly the smart ones, like I assume Luke's really smart, 'cause I think he told me a bit about his career. Um, yeah, you're getting the best content by just asking questions. You're getting the best content by asking questions because you're triggering my mind to something that, maybe I haven't taught in 15 years rather than just giving you the standard stuff. Um, so yeah, the absolute love of my life, by far, no one's even close. That I still am in love with today, and she's still in love with me very much. It was a fly around the world Latino German model, fly around the Americas at least, from a wonderful family. Um, I met her when she was 23, and I would have been 33 or something. Yeah, 23, 33. And she's an incredibly mature girl and amazing parents. Anyway, I'm crapping on. But yeah, I talked about how when I was in finance, I started to go a bit grey on the side. And when I left finance, because I was fighting with a major bank over a client base that was worth a lot of money and losing. Okay, you pick a fight with $100 billion company, you lose. Just a quick tip for anyone who's thinking about doing that. They might fire seven people because of what you do, but you still lose. Um, so yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm crapping on a bit. So yeah, anyway, I talked about that. She goes, "Oh, I can't do a Latino accent very well. I can't wait till you go grey, baby. That shows you're ready to settle down and you're not going to run off with some other girl." Now, every Latino girl knows this. Every Latino girl knows this. Um, but but yeah, Western girls have no idea. So yeah, in most cultures, women, desirable women, want a guy much, much older than them. So in answer to Luke's question, I think in terms of getting girls on dates, actually getting somewhere, I think it's actually helped me because I think women subconsciously think, oh, this guy's more ready to settle down, and obviously without being big-headed, but they can tell by my confidence, so I interact with people because of what I do and and all my travels that I'm probably an extremely confident guy. Several girls have said on the stage, he's the most confident man I've ever seen in my life. Not so much at tech, but yeah, with people, I'm pretty good at that. So yeah, I think it's probably helped me all up. I was going grey on around, not on the top. I was going grey a lot on the sides, but I think because of a few diet changes and getting a very unhappy girl out of my life, I think I've actually reversed hair color. I can tell people about that if they're interested. So great question. I'm going to go back to my list. Um, uh, bu- 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 um, if they're stuck in their heads, I think Tessa's covered this. I'll just double check her list as well. They often lack masculinity or physical presence due to sedentary cerebral careers. It's a bit wordy. Yeah, a lot of blue collar guys are dramatically more masculine than white collar guys. I don't think anyone can doubt that. I live in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, and you get some of these sort of blue collar guys, builders and stuff come in from the eastern suburbs. It's like a football team walked in the place compared to the sort of hipsters in the eastern suburbs who pretend to surf in between sniffing coke and changing girls. Eastern suburbs of Sydney. So yeah, blue collar guys tend to have a lot more masculinity than generally intelligent white collar guys. And yeah, as I probably said before, masculinity, testosterone is one of the things that women are really attracted to. Um, Tess, if you've gone into something in extreme detail, just let me know. I'll go quickly on these. They tend to flaunt their intelligence, which can feel pretentious or alienating. Rich guys flaunt their money, smart guys flaunt their brains and whatever. Guys with large members, which unfortunately I'm not a part of, which is not part, I'm not part of that club, although I knew how to grow very quickly. Um, yeah, big guys flaunt whatever their talents are. So yeah, that flaunt their intelligence, and yeah, because a lot of really smart guys have sort of particular niche interests. A lot of it is to do with programming and technology and video games and a lot of stuff around that. They can really struggle to connect with women compared to guys who are interested in sort of yoga and health and travel and books and, you know, more female friendly stuff. Okie dokie. Jeff Mack saying worrying about your age is a complete waste of energy. Concentrate on the girls who are interested and carry on. Excellent, 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 excellent comment. The only thing I'd add to that is if you start, oh, a bit of a follow on from Luke's comment. You probably can't tell now because I've had a horrible time, but the fact that I'm so healthy for my age, I think works with me because I think women have this subconscious understanding that if a guy is my age and he's as healthy with, whatever, not men's health, but really, decent skinny body, athletic skinny body, and tons and tons of energy and whatever, still got a lot of dark in my hair. I think someone understands that if a guy gets to that stage, Darwin didn't say this, I'm speculating he would agree with me, Charles Darwin, that that she's thinking, oh, this guy was promiscuous from like 16 to 50s. This guy's going to have a lot of kids, and that's the way we're all programmed, believe it or not. So yeah, how about we get into Tessa's number 7? More questions, guys. There's a bunch of you on. There's a huge bunch. There's a fair bunch of you on. So yeah, more questions, please.
Yeah, so number 7 for me was taking the lead, sexual boldness, and escalation. And I think someone asked me to explain that a little bit more as well. So that's perfect. Um, yeah, I guess these guys who I spoke about them being a little bit too polite, too timid, um, don't take, yeah, they don't take the lead in dating. They don't take the lead in escalation. Um, they don't, yeah. So basically, if you're just on the back foot with that all the time, not building sexual tension, um, you basically just get friend zoned. You come across as that nice guy, and there's no chemistry, there's no sexual attraction. So that's a huge one. That probably shouldn't have been my number 7, to be honest. But yeah, that's how do I explain that more? I guess, yeah, you want to build sexual tension through strong eye contact, through escalation through touch, and that might start, obviously, you would start touching in non-sexual zones like the shoulder, the arm, maybe move to the small of the back. And you have to do these increments um, at the rate that she wants you to. You can't be pushing her limits there. You have to make those, you have to escalate to show your intention, but you have to wait until she's ready for that too, and wants it. So, yeah, if she's showing you positive signals that she's enjoying that, you need to be able to pick up on that and take things further, take the lead. Um, so yeah, in an ideal situation, you're gonna impress this woman with your charisma, sweep her off her feet with yeah, and make the whole thing just super smooth. Um, yeah, and not take any steps that are gonna push her away by taking too big a step with your escalation. It has to happen in micro increments. Um, yeah. Yeah, James, why do you think that these uh intelligent guys struggle with that, with the sexual boldness?
I think it was my second point. They fear failure, and because it's because of academia, they're just so yeah. In the current generation of smart guys who think going to Stanford's a complete waste of their life or Harvard are very different to us. Get into like the best startup will take me, and then start they've got a completely different mindset to us, where we get a law degree or a commerce degree or a medical degree or something. Um, so yeah, my internet connection is not great. If I drop out, I've got the proper one that's got like good Australian level speed back up and running. It's a Sunday here, so I think they're a bit asleep here. So if I drop out, I'll be back on soon. But Tessa's doing a great job by herself. So yeah, I just think it's we're scared of making mistakes and we're scared of rejection. I mean, most guys are scared of rejection, but white collar guys can just be terrible, just so stuck in their heads. It's just not funny. I know because I'm not ridiculously intelligent, but hopefully above average. Yeah, it's just intelligence is a gift in many way, in pretty much every way. Intelligence is a profound gift, but there's downsides to it as well. Just like being rich, it's great, but you pay all these taxes and you can't trust people's motives, and who knows? If you're really rich, your wife get kidnapped, your kids might be kidnapped. That's happened to a bunch of people. Um,
Yeah. So you're saying that guys are, they're scared of making a mistake, so they just do nothing, which is really so frustrating for a woman who wants them to take those steps. It's a huge shame. So yeah, when women are like, "Oh my God, when is he gonna take the next step? When's he gonna, um, yeah, or you've been on 2 dates and you've just had some great conversation or whatever, built some connection, but he hasn't touched you at all." She's like, okay, well, yeah, I don't think I'm feeling that. So yeah, that's really not ideal. And it is a shame that so many guys are afraid to take those steps. And the biggest thing is that if you do, push things a little bit too far or whatever, you do make a mistake, all you have to do is take a step back and not try to repeat that until she's ready for it again. So, but if you do nothing, then nothing happens. So yeah, I mean, unless she's bold enough to just to be making those steps herself, but it's not really that attractive. Women do expect men to be making those moves and to be taking the lead. It's part of masculinity.
Um, a couple of great points that Tess has made there. One of my early blog articles that just went viral in 2008 or something, 2009 or before, 2007, it got an enormous amount of views, was me talking about a Russian girlfriend of mine who was an ex-ballerina, and just, sorry about my accents. Um, what woman wants handsome man? Well, what use is good looks to a woman? I need a man who's confident. Obviously, her grandma went through the gulags and Stalin, this sort of thing. And she was just saying three really attractive Aussie and American guys came up to her when she was in a white bikini on a lounger, which was like one of the most intimidating sights I've ever seen in my life. Um, just sitting reading a book, and they all came up to her and they were scared, and one sat two loungers away, and they were hunched over, and they all did a really bad job. She goes, why don't your mothers and fathers teach their sons this? It's so basic. It's so basic. How can men be afraid or useless at not coming up to woman? So yeah, it's just women are sick of it. And just an anecdote from one of my female trainers is one of the most popular of all time. Um, yeah, probably the only rival for Tess, uh, is yeah, she was crazy about this sort of 6'3" hunky tech guy, crazy smart, earned a ton of money. They had so much in common. And she was hoping he'd ask her out for ages. He finally did. It took him, and she basically got him to ask it out. She constructed a situation where he could ask out. Then they went on 2 dates, I think, and he took her out and had incredibly expensive meals, and just didn't do a thing. He just didn't do an absolute thing. He was just so scared of making mistakes. Um, and eventually she just got sick of him and she just lost all attraction to him because the guy was just completely unsexual, did nothing. And the thing is, you're being quite offensive to women. You're asking them to be the S word. Am I allowed to swear on YouTube? Are they going to penalize my stream? It's very hard for me to be all 2025 politically correct. If you don't escalate yourself and the girl likes you, you're asking women, say, okay, can you please be a SLUT for me? Because I'm too scared to do it myself, which is pretty much the least unattractive thing along with pedophilia. It's just terrible. Women do not want to be that way. So great comment there. Um, Nobody's perfect. Even if a woman really likes a man, she would rather miss out on being with him than take those steps themselves, even if that means losing him in the process. Dude, we should, okay, we've got funny comment of the night. We need to start coming up with prizes for this. We've got greatest question of the night. I think Luke asked something really good. Someone else asked something amazing good too. Um, so yeah, women.
What's
Okay, I get really deep into Darwin because this helps you understand everything. I'll keep this quick. If you can't hit on a woman, you're not pre-selected. This is the fundamental skill to understanding women, understanding sexual selection. If you can't approach a girl, you haven't had hot girls before. You're worthless, you're poor, you're homeless, you stink in the streets. You're a loser to a woman, to any self-respecting woman. You're a loser. I'm saying because I was my whole life. If you don't have this skill, women think you've never had experience with attractive women before, and that's the number one thing women look for, pre-selection from other women, because that saves them so much time in their decision making. If you had a string of hot girls and you seem to like them, they're so attracted to you. So yeah, sorry I interrupted, Tess.
Yeah, no, thanks, James. I think I 100% agree with that. Obviously, it's just so frustrating. If she does really like you, you're not making any moves, and she's like, does this guy even, like, what does he think of me? Women do like to be made to feel sexy, and, when they want that attention and you're not giving it to them, she'll probably just think, oh, who is this guy? Like, what's he going to be like in the bedroom? Am I going to be the instigator? Like, it's just not sexy. It's not great.
Yeah, you've got to be able to approach girls. You've got to be able to approach girls. Cold approach is a mission critical skill. If you're trying to get good with women or get the love of your life or find the mother of your children without that skill, I'm sorry. I mean, I shouldn't be scaring people off. We make it really, really easy because, we give you this course and you have a whole bunch of time on Zoom with Tess and you get your conversation skills and reading signals really well. Um, and then we get you in the boot camp. You spend whatever 8 hours in real life practicing with a model, and then you go out to the real world. And every guy, Adam Searle, if he's still here, or if there's any other students on, they just say it's so easy. It's so easy. Um, so yeah, you've just got to be able to do this. The truth is, you'll meet the love of your life through hobbies and interests, and especially through reading signals, and then taking advantage rather than cold approach. But you've got to be able to cold approach. If you can't cold approach, you're just relegated to Amber Heard because you're going to get some, particularly if you've got some cash, you're going to get some girl who'll pick you up and then realize you're just a weak loser she can exploit and take all your money and eventually humiliate. Anyone who's read the book Madame Bovary, um, story of my mum and dad. So yeah, sorry to get on a rant there. Um, 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 okay, we've got some more questions coming in. Did you want to add anything to that, Tess?
No,
I was sort
all
of
good,
going
James.
back and forward. I think it's adding a lot of value, and so much this is triggered by your questions. Hint, hint, hint. So yeah, I just explained the boot camp. If you put the link in again, I'm being a good business owner for a change rather than just struggling. Um, Very powerful mindset. By the way, you don't need to be a pickup artist and go out every night of the week. You just need to spend 2 or 3 months of your life, preferably with some good wings, getting the skill going. A lot of my most successful clients, they can't approach it. I shouldn't say this. They can't approach anymore because they don't need to. They've got girls everywhere. They're scared of it, or they've got the love of their life. So cold approach is a skill you need to have. Just like a kid growing up needs to be able to fight. I whatever. I was pretty talented at sport, and I got bullied savagely at home, which meant I was weak and got bullied savagely at school. I mean, if my dad had taken me to boxing classes, I mean, no one would have bullied me because I had a lot of very fast twitch muscle fibers, and I was whatever, pretty pretty bloody talented at sport. So yeah, I think you need to teach your son to fight. And you got to teach your son to cold approach women. We have clients who are going to send their whatever 12-year-old son to do dates with Tess. So anyway, sorry, I'm ranting a bit tonight. Um, eh, um, Sorry, just 1 second. Can I finish something? I apologize. I had this girl from work come over. Um, Martin's saying, I had this girl from work come over. Could people, Martin, if you want to, I love your comments. Thank you so much. And you're a great guy. We've got so much in common. If you could just put Q beside any of your questions, because we want to make sure we handle all the questions we can. Wayne M, James, when is it time to give up chasing women? 40, 50, 60, 70? Surely there's a cutoff point. I would like your opinion because it sounds like you're single in your 50s. Great question. I don't know if you've been on for a long time. I explained that I'd had probably half a dozen women and that I'm sorry, can you please leave me alone? I'll be 1 second. Um, um, okay. Uh, you can talk to me in about 5 minutes if you want. 1 second. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
You
Um,
need a minute, James? I can
I'll just finish this. Okay, I'll just jump off for a second. I
cool.
might drop out of Zoom. Tess, could you
Yep.
possibly send me a Telegram link to log on just in case something happens?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I've got to answer Wayne's excellent question. Thank you.
Cool, no worries. Sorry guys, just bear with me 1 second. Just making sure that James can get back on. And here I am. Cool. So yeah, I unfortunately can't comment on yeah on that specific question for James. When's the cutoff date? You know, I think that's an individual question. James is, yeah, he is 50, but James is still interested in having a family as far as I'm aware, and yeah, he's quite active dating dating at the moment. So it is up to you. You know, a lot of guys do like to settle down at some stage, but that's so personal. I'll let James give his 2 cents on that. Let's see what else we've got here. Society puts this harsh pressure on men to just naturally get it for knowing how um, to never be weird or creepy or awkward when approaching and interacting with women. Yeah, it is. There is pressure. You're right. There's pressure. Um, there are so many pressures on women as well to look a certain way or yeah, to be feminine or to I don't know. There's pressure on everyone from society. It's difficult for men. I 100% agree. But it doesn't actually take that much to do well with women because there are so many guys that don't get it. So as long as you can just do a couple of things right in the beginning, it's just a skill set that a lot of us don't really get taught. You know, we don't get taught these skills at school. We don't get taught social skills at school. So unless you are fortunate enough to have worked in a really social job like hospitality or sales or um, something like that. Yeah, you know, oftentimes you might just spend your whole time going to school, going to university, getting straight into your job, working as, yeah, an accountant, or a yeah, problem solving job where you don't learn these skills and it's just like it's so foreign to you when these expectations are put on you, but it's actually not that hard to learn. It is just a skill set that you can learn. So yeah, you know, I've been through this process with all of our clients, and it's just like learning anything new. It's difficult in the beginning. It's all, yeah, it's a lot to take in to begin with, but you know, a few weeks in, it's astounding how much the transformations that we see guys make just by learning a few of these skills, you know, and it all becomes so easy. And it's actually, you know, that's why I love doing what I do. It's so rewarding seeing these transformations happen and seeing the value that it adds to people's lives. Because it's not just, um, meeting beautiful women and feeling confident doing that. It's actually improving your relationships with your family, your friends, you know, potentially um, performing better in networking situations or job interviews. You know, it's just people skills, which are so, so important. So it is such a shame that we actually don't It's not mandatory for everyone to learn these skills because what is it to be a human? It's to interact with other humans. So it's important to understand, um, yeah, to have these skills because of these expectations that are put on us. Um, David, you're asking us to put our lists in the comments, please. Yeah, no worries. I'll put my list in now. That's coming. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Uh, just bear with me. Coming in for you now. Oh, my list is too long. Okay, I might wait until James gets back so I can put that in the comments in the chat for you while he's speaking and not waste too much of you guys' time while I'm trying to figure that out. Um, Hi James and Tess. What are your views on marriage in the modern world? Is it too risky? Too risky? No, not at all. Yeah, I don't think it's marriage is risky. Name, last name. Maybe you could give me a little bit more information on why that's a question for you. Risky in terms of from a man's perspective, are you meaning like, if she's trying to use you to for your assets or something? Is that what you mean? That it might be too risky in the modern world? Um, yeah, maybe um I mean, yeah, just from my experience, and it might just be the person who I am and the people I surround myself with, but um I still do strongly believe that people enter into marriage with the right intentions. It's a big commitment. It's pretty serious. You need a pretty toxic, manipulative woman to be engaging in a long-term relationship and marriage with you for the purpose of using you. I just I like to think that no, that's that wouldn't be the first intention that a woman would have. I'm not gonna lie, there are definitely people like that out there, but no. Um So yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, name, last name, if you've had a bad experience or potentially been in a toxic relationship which can scare a lot of guys. But yeah, toxic relationships, they are um becoming we hear about them more and more commonly. And I think that it comes down to it's really complex, but it doesn't just come down to the fact that women are evil and they're Johnny Depp was married to Amber Heard. Yeah, that women are just manipulative. The way women think, we're hardwired to be more manipulative than men are because we don't have the physical strength that men have. So, evolutionarily, to get what we want, we have to get it through manipulation. So, I mean, you'll notice this in children from a very young age, the way that children develop, that boys, they're just playing with cars and balls and that's all they're interested in until a certain age. Whereas um, a young female might start to play tricks on her parents to get what she wants because that's just the way our minds work. So oftentimes this can be misconstrued as just pure toxicity, but I often think that um, there are two sides to a story in every relationship, and a woman doesn't just turn toxic out of some flaw in her. I think that oftentimes it's when potentially there's an issue to do with the polarity between masculine and feminine in the relationship, where the woman is having to take on a lot of the masculine role, where she's not only running the household, but she's also um, being responsible for doing all the planning when it comes to dates and holidays. And making all the decisions um, and then also potentially working in a high pressure environment, as we see so many more women nowadays working in those more traditionally masculine roles, that it just becomes all too much. And like, where does all the stress go? Obviously, when a woman's not, in a relationship where this man isn't stepping up to the mark in terms of masculinity, then yeah, this frustration can turn into toxicity, let's say. Um, so yeah, sorry, we got a little bit carried away with that one, but I do feel quite
No, that
strongly
was
about that as
excellent.
well.
That was excellent.
Um, oh, you're back,
Do you want me?
James.
I might just respond to that. It's not often I disagree with Tess, um, but I think I've got to now. It's not a bad thing. It's pretty much an indication of how sweet and wonderful a person this is. I haven't dated Tess, she's well taken care of, but of the Australian women I've met, I think you could have a relationship with. I mean, there's not many. There's not many. I'm pretty sure, having not dated her and not having spoken to her partner about this subject, I'm pretty sure she's one of them, which is, yeah, a huge compliment from me because it's a very small percentage in the world. And having sought for that and found it, so she seems just like a very, very, very decent human being, which is rare, kind of rare these days. Might be meditation and yoga that gave her that. So I know she had a bit of a rough experience growing up in some cases. Um, anyway, yeah, unfortunately, I have to disagree with her. Um, when a guy has millions of dollars, or looks like he's going to earn millions of dollars, all a woman needs to do is get a ring on her finger or live with that guy for 2 years. I'm not familiar with the American law. Um, And yeah, she's set for life. And I know that was one of my huge fears when I was in finance and even out of finance. It's like they don't need to work, they don't need to do anything. They're set for life just with a ring or just get to the 2 year mark and get a decent lawyer. And there's a lot of girls in East side of Sydney who know as soon as they're in a relationship with a guy, they do a consult, which might cost them a small amount of money, with every decent divorce lawyer in the city. And then there's no one left to represent him. For anyone who hasn't seen okay, I can't ask you, but anyone who earns over 100 grand, let alone over 250, you have to watch Marriage Story. It's actually a really good film. I had no idea that Scarlett Johansson was that good an actress. She was really talented. Did that come through? And the other thing, if you own more than $500,000, you have to watch the movie Divorce Corp. I'm not trying to scare guys off women. You just need the skills to find small, short ones. Divorce Corp,
I
I
think
think.
it's good. This is really good, James. It's really good that you have experience in this. I suppose it's just like I said, coming from my own background and the people who I associate with, it's just not the kind of thing that I would ever assume of any people I know. So, but yeah, this is really, really valuable, James.
I mean, you're giving yourself a compliment in a way that this doesn't even enter your head because plenty of women, it really, really does. Because my first I hope this is interesting for you guys. Because my first girlfriend, when I was just completely effing hopeless, was a full on, all her friends were gold diggers. She was a gold digger. I can spot these women a mile away. And yeah, like one time I was introduced to a girl in the bar and just like gold digger. And my friend who's much better at business than me, who I turned into a rich, rich man who was friends with all the richest men in Australia under 40 when he was broke, had nothing. He introduced me to a girl who her job was to help philanthropists. And I'm like, this is the biggest gold digger I've ever seen. If there's any women on tonight, there's a school in Switzerland that teaches how to be in luxury hospitality. Yeah, I know gold diggers inside out because I've been exposed to them through through one of the goldsmith airs. I met one of the best gold diggers in her life. My friend who was a top male model, He dated a model who dated a bunch of billionaires. So yeah, it's a very, very, very big thing. I think her mum dated, I can't remember, the Prince of Monaco for a while. She was taught by her mum to be a gold digger. So I don't know if there's guys on this thing with, as a 100 grand, you got to start to be careful. Maybe not in Sydney, Melbourne, but whatever, or Australia. But yeah, once you're getting to the quarters and the halves, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other resources I can give you. Um, you got to understand women's psychology. You got to understand women's tests. You've really got to go out and get your own woman, which is hard when you're so busy. But yeah, unfortunately, Tess is just showing what a wonderful, amazing person she is. There's a good cohort of women who would, do any. I mean, Boris Becker got a blowjob in a closet from a model, and he's still paying her alimony. No, maybe he's not. I think he still is actually. So yeah, it's a huge issue, and with the whole Me Too movement, and it's like, oh, if you leave me, I'm going to say you raped me in 2019 when you had a few drinks. And I said I wasn't into it. I had to get up for work in the morning, and you persisted, and suddenly you got a rape case because she's texted this to her mother and her best friend. So that's evidence that you don't have. I think it's mainly Australians tonight because that's who we marketed it to. That rugby player whose name eludes me, I think he's still in jail for like I wasn't in the courtroom. I wasn't there when the rape happened, but it's like, oh my God, this is pretty low down. Um, okay. Fantastic. Sorry to contradict you, Tess. But yeah, that's somewhere I've got a bit of experience, and you're just showing what a wonderful person you are by the fact that it's so remote a thing to you.
No,
Um,
it seems like there are a few people who can definitely relate to that, James. So I think that's super valuable for them.
Yeah, I mean, the stories I could tell you. I mean, we're on the subject. One client, I don't know, he's worth 10 or something from Perth, really masculine guy. He broke up with this girl. She kept trying to get him back. She was messaging him constantly. He said, no, 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 no. So she used a key to his house because he thought he still had an okay relationship with her. She kidnapped his staffy, took it to the vet, and got the thing put down. No bullshit. I could go on stories like this. Another guy who's a what was he? Was he a anaesthetist? I can't actually remember. He might have been a urologist. I think he was an anaesthetist. Anyway, his ex-girlfriend, because he was about to leave her, he's got his 1 year old holding it, and she's hitting this little tiny Asian guy, he's like 5'5", one of my favorite clients in the decade. She's hitting him with this gigantic vase. And I'm like, seriously? She was a GP, he was an anaesthetist. Um, and like he had these golf balls in his head. Like, he had these golf balls in his head. Just like lots of them. This is a doctor. Oh my, and she somehow got him up on sexual harassment charges at a hospital. I'm like, this was like this guy couldn't escalate in a million years. Are these stories valuable to you? I can tell you so many. So many guys who were tens of millions, in one case, hundreds of millions, have said, if I didn't have kids, I'd have probably killed myself. The divorce we went through took like 9 years. And like I offered her an amount of money that she said, "Oh, I'll settle for." I'm just making this number up. I'll settle for like 9 million. It was in that order, and then she says that to him through the lawyers, and then he goes, "Okay, here's 9 million." A week later, she goes, "No, no, no, I want this, I want this," and she just kept this going for 9 years. It's just like this. It's a Johnny Depp was the tip of the iceberg, and there's considerably worse than that. Okay, sorry, I'm on a high horse here. Okay, I'm looking in the camera. This is one of the most important points I'll ever make to you. I said this in a speech that I didn't release because I was scared of Me Too, which that speech would probably have 100 million views now if I'd released it. Um, I said this. I would consider shorting Tesla stock aggressively, long dated shorts, if anyone who understands this, um, if he doesn't get away from Amber Heard. And I was saying the directors have to intervene. This is okay, I don't swear on YouTube. This is a fucking catastrophe for the world. He needs to get away from her. Now, if she had loved Elon and not Johnny Depp, the world would be completely and utterly different. It would be completely and utterly different. I think I made this speech in 2016. Might have even been 2014, one of the two. Imagine someone could just Google when or AI when they were dating. It would have completely changed the face of humanity if Elon Musk, who said that the hardest thing he's ever done, the guy's used his own capital to start a rocket company, an AI company, a I forget, under tunnels. It's like a rocket just absolute makes Rockefeller and Carnegie look like amateurs. Um, it would have all been destroyed. I mean, we all know what would have happened if he didn't buy Twitter. I mean, Lord knows where the world would be. So anyway, I'm on a bit of a high horse here. Can I just get some feedback if this is appreciated, or are people just launching off in droves? And I kind of regret I didn't keep that speech up because it would have been torn to pieces in the Me Too movement. It was called How Women Manipulate Men. As it turns out, one of my best friends for a long time, one of Elon's best friends too. I should probably stop talking now. Yeah. It shouldn't make you glad you're single, someone's saying. It should warn you that this is a minefield. You don't give up on having children just because you got to do this. I mean, what's the point of working so hard to build this amazing life that you can share with someone if you never have kids or you have kids with Amber Heard and she ruins your life completely? So anyway, did people, let me see, is this rant helpful? Because I'm just trying to hammer the effing point home. I've had so many guys sit on the last day of the boot camp and give us a testimonial and say, oh yeah, tell me about the value you got out of this. Could you put a price on it? And got blue collar guys on modest incomes said, oh, it's got to be at least 20,000, probably 50, given what I do to my career and my life. I've had guys say, oh, I don't know, like 15 million, because that's what I gave the BOTCH after. So I wouldn't have given her that, but much more because I wouldn't have gone through those years of hell. So yeah, yeah. For, none of your answer on YouTube. Who here has been completely and utterly over the moon in love? Yes or no? If you could answer that question. I've traveled to 100 countries. I've done everything you can think of, whatever sexual fantasy, short of having threesomes with two girls I love in zero gravity. I've done it. But yeah, nothing comes close to just being totally in love with another human being. Nothing. And no amount of money or status, or maybe not even being Michael Jordan dunking on Patrick Ewing, for those of you old enough, or any other of the stuff you can see on YouTube, Michael Jordan. I don't think anything could ever come close to that. And I've also done a lot of very serious meditation. So yeah, so you need in my view, you need these skills and the sexual skills to do that. Anyway, sorry for the rant. Um, just be just yourself or fooling everyone and precious time. Thank you. My favorite female guests on. Welcome, Stella. Okay, so I've neglected a bunch of questions when I got on that rant. Tess, I certainly was not contradicting you in any way. You're effing wonderful on a scale I can't fathom. But yeah, I just had to call that out because it's the worst thing for Western women because so many of the guys they want are so freaking terrified of ever being in a relationship that they make do on sex workers or seeking arrangement girls. It's a catastrophe. Gold diggers need to get on seeking arrangement if they want to get a decent guy because he thinks the fact he's paying him money is going to give him some protection if it gets to the lawsuit, the law court, which might not work. I started answering a question. We got a bunch of questions I'm taking up. Uh, can you get me back on track after my rant? Can I get some feedback?
Yeah.
Was my rant helpful? I'd really appreciate that. Or am I just pissing people off? If there's still a bunch of you on, I think I lost a couple of people with the rant, but probably everyone need to hear it. Okie dokie.
No, no, everyone's just commenting on this topic. So it looks like we're on track. Someone was just asking if a few guys have asked if we could write our lists that we spoke about. So I've put my list in the chat.
Oh,
If you want to do that at
absolutely.
some stage as well.
I
Um,
haven't finished my list actually. I'll get
oh,
to
okay.
that soon. I've got quite a long list. We might just catch up with the questions. If you could just bring me back on track as to what the current question we haven't answered is. I really want
Yeah.
to answer all the questions. And there's at least one woman on. Women can be horrific, awful,
Oh,
satanically evil people. So can men. So can men. So can men. But at this point, I focus my energies on helping men. I soon hope to help women. So yeah, I'm talking about the awful, evil women of the world. There's a completely different subject of the awful, evil men, which I could get into in a big way too, but it's probably not that much interest to the crowd. So the psychopath rate's higher amongst men than women. I think it's 1 to 3%. So where are we up to with questions?
there's one, if I go back, Tess, can you give me an example of how we can tell if a woman wants to be approached? Yeah, so I can give an example. If yeah, if you walk into a venue and you see women who are like playing with their hair and looking over their shoulder and or laughing really loudly to draw attention, that sort of thing, those are all good signs that a woman might want to be approached. If she's um in a really intense conversation with just one friend and their focus is solely on each other, um, probably not the right person to approach. They might be catching up on something really important between the two of them, and they're not looking for attention from other people. So yeah, those are just a few little examples.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Tess, could you possibly put the two links in? The most valuable piece of content, the most popular piece of content we've ever done, which has had at least 2 million views across various platforms. We're going to give you access to an edited but with a bunch of bonuses put in it, and it's going to be the full thing because because of fear, I had to edit it down quite early in the piece, particularly with the whole what's happened the last 5 years. The other thing is, we are currently doing our best sale ever, in part because I hired two awful people, one horrendously awful, and unfortunately, Bondi Beach got subjected to essentially 2 years of straight construction, more than that. So yeah, I had the worst year of income maybe since 2011 or 12. So it's a really good sale. So if you ever even thought about, oh, maybe I should do that, maybe I should work with Tess on Zoom, maybe I should consider coming to an event, and we're probably doing them in Bali soon as well. Now is the time if money is of any sort of a concern to you. Um, 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 Okie dokie. So if you just tell me where we're up to before I my rant went crazy.
No, that was it really. There haven't been any other questions. Or if you
I
guys
think
can help as well, if there are any other questions that are pressing, guys, can you just put them back in the chat with if we've missed anything? That would be really
I
helpful.
think Wayne M or someone said something.
Wait. Wayne, did you have a question?
Oh,
Apologies if we haven't
I think he
addressed.
asked why I hadn't kids. Hi, Jane. Oh, maybe that was it. If anyone asks you why I haven't kids, in my 30s, I met six girls who, if I met them now, I'd impregnate them within 2 years. One I still love with all my heart and soul. One is pretty close to the most remarkable human being I've ever had friends with. And that was when she was 20. She's from a very exclusive, elite Russian French family. But yeah, I just haven't met anything remotely close to that living predominantly in Bondi Beach, Australia. So I've never really even thought about a long-term relationship unless there was threesomes involved or something, or it was good for my business, which sounds pretty shallow. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm keen on moving out of Australia to get more European, more literature reading girls. Because I think that's for me. No offense to the Aussie girls, Tess is an extraordinary Australian girl. They do exist, but I haven't had the luck. Maybe it's because I lived in Bondi Beach. I should have been living in Newtown or Melbourne or something. Um, Okay, when is it time to give up chasing women? 50, 60, 70? Surely there's a cutoff point. I'd like to give us your opinion because it sounds like you're single in your 50s. Excellent question, Wayne. I just covered why I am that way. But one of my biggest dreams in life is rather than helping profoundly changing lives of thousands of guys. I want to profoundly change the lives of 1 million guys. My mission is to transform 10 million men by 58, by um, making everyone the most confident. Number one, bring men and women together and make them happy. Make everyone the most confident, charismatic self. Help men avoid really, really toxic women. And there's a fourth one. This is my mission for anyone who's interested, is to help people live happily with capitalism. I can explain that another time. I should put that in the chat actually. Um, when did you give up chasing women? 50, 60, 70? I think it's a case by case basis. If you've been single your whole life and you're still doing it in your 50s, um, I don't know. It doesn't seem, or even 40s, and you're doing it just to continue to have sexual conquests. Um, I don't know. I don't want to say too much in case that's some guy's goals, but that doesn't really seem good. Unless you've been a virgin, unless you've had like if you had little experience with women and then you suddenly get the skills, yeah, you want to have fun of it. I mean, I've had clients in their late 50s and 60s who have suddenly become philanderers because they've finally had the skills. Um, but yeah, and for a guy who maybe got married in his 20s and did a good job being a father and a provider, and the relationship ended and he hadn't had much experience before then. Um, as he slept with less than five or less than 10 girls. He might want to go out and have a bunch of fun. So I don't think you'd put an age limit. It's more a lifestyle limit. In my view, someone who's just been philandering like a crazy man for 10, 20, 30 years, um, I don't know. I don't want to say too much. I've had a few clients like that, but I don't think that's a very balanced view of life. There's so many other things other than in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, no matter how pretty the girl is. I mean, one of my biggest regrets in life is I spent nearly 5 years in a series of three-way relationships with two girls, and it was for ego, it was for my business, and they were never girls there were really never girls I'd consider having a family with. And that's one of the greatest regrets of my life because I could have written a best-selling book then. I could have scaled the business to tens of millions and helped millions and millions of people. Instead, it was just in, out, in, out, in, out every weekend, many nights. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that at all. Questions. Jeff Mack is saying no cutoff date. I think it's a case by case basis. If you had a horrible childhood, being put down and never had any chance with women, you might go longer than other guys. But I'm certainly well out of the philandering stage, as I said earlier. Nobody's perfect. Society puts this harsh pressure on men to just act naturally. Get it for knowing how to never be weird, creepy, or awkward when approaching interacting with women. I might let you handle that. Nobody's perfect. Oh six.
I think I actually already covered that, James.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
so any questions that I've missed out?
Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble keeping track tonight as well.
Nobody's perfect again. When do men approach women and their intentions with women result? Have you covered that? Weird or creepy?
Um, oh, here we go. When men do approach women and their interactions with women result in women thinking they are weird or creepy, uncomfortable, um, it is of course painful and makes us men feel stupid and dumb. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, if yeah, if you've made a fool of yourself and she hasn't responded well, of course that's not gonna feel good. But yeah, that's why what as I was saying before, these social skills that we're not taught in school are so important for everyone. And it's actually not that hard. It's just a skill set that not all of us have learnt. A lot of people pick it up naturally through yeah, working in hospitality or in sales or something where you do learn people skills. But if you just if that hasn't been the case for you, then so often it is, yeah, you do find yourself feeling awkward in these situations and not being responded to well. But it's just a skill that you need to learn, basically. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, and just it's important to be yourself as well. But if being yourself when you have no social skills equals you being rejected a lot, that's difficult. Like, how do you just be yourself? So The better approach is be yourself, but learn the skills so that you can be yourself and feel confident about the skills that you have. Um, yeah.
Tess done a great job of that. Yeah, I think I said before, you're not going to get good at fighting if you don't get hit. And you could do the boot camp in every course and do private training and do a residential in Bali with us. It's not going to be 100% success rate. We can do everything we can possibly do for you. And if you want to meet the love of your life, the mother of your children, or have a fun time, I mean, there's going to be some rejection there. You can do everything you can to keep the rejection rate very, very low, which I've certainly done, which so many of my clients have done, but it's still going to exist. The girl might be having a bad day. The girl might be a TCH. The girl, you might remind, I get this a bit, that you might remind the girl of someone who broke their heart or hurt them, and they might react badly to you. As I said, women are much more emotional than men in general, even the ones with 150 IQs. Um, so the girl was young and very surly. So it's a comment. Again, Martin, love if you could just put we love your comments. Keep them coming, keep them coming. But just if you've got a question, if you could just put Q there. I do love you. Lots of great movie tips. He's a very cultured guy. Tess, can you give an example of how we can tell if a woman wants to be approached? Oh, you've done that.
Oh,
Good on
yep,
you.
done that one, yep.
Um, I remember one guy said, just tell me nobody's perfect. I remember one guy said, a dismissive comment to me. He said, if you can fix the behaviors that cause women to think of you as weird or creepy, you won't feel the pain anymore. Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. We should repost that for everyone else. That's a very profound statement he's made. Let me just do that. Actually, maybe you can do it, Tess. Um, Johnny Depp was actually married to Amber Heard. I didn't know that. Maybe I did. Luke, I would say there are fewer and fewer women that qualify for marriage. Yeah, I can't. In Australia, in America, in England, Ireland, for God's sake, none. I was about to tell a joke that would get me in trouble on YouTube there. Sorry. Luke, it's very dangerous to get married in in common law countries. Do your research before bringing the government into your relationship. Very, 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 very true. A whole bunch of people choose to have a family without getting married these days. I don't know if that's a huge amount of protection because she can still claim a bunch of stuff. Um, the truth is, if I had another girl I loved with all my heart, I would, and we were having kids, I would get married simply to do the right thing by the kids. So I'd never really marry a woman, even the girl I love with every cell in my body, and probably still do 20 something years later. I mean, just to show I'm not some philandering threesome model dude. Yeah, we talk on the phone occasionally, and we just both start crying. I'm getting emotional thinking about this woman. So yeah, I mean, I'd give anything to find that again. She's well beyond childbearing age now because I met her 2005 or something. More compliments for Tess. Don't buy into the anti-woman or incel crap. Can't agree more. Um, just checking I've missed anything. Thank you, Luke. These stories are very real. They're what wealthy friends have told me too. Yeah, I could give you like 20 others. I could probably give you one that's worse, but I'm scared to share it here. Um, Stella made a comment, there's no fortune to show. So much you want dating advice, I'm losing it. Just want to be very respectful to everyone who's asked a question. Stella, just be fooling yourself or fooling everyone and wasting your precious time. So I'm not sure what that was connected to. I apologize, Stella, because I love, love, love your contributions. Thank you so much, Luke. That means a lot to me. So I probably lost a few people, but the guys who've got assets or have friends who've gone through it, every man needs to effing hear that. Because yeah, I mean, I don't know if you heard my Elon Musk's remark, but yeah, if Elon had loved Elon and not Johnny, I don't know if I'd even want to live in this world. I'd be with Vladimir Putin in Russia, which I shouldn't say on YouTube. I'm going to get strangled for that. Um, Partially because of the women's and the great literature. Um, when's the time to give up women? I'm not very. Oh, are we nearly there? We're there. Tess said if a man approached you, what would you want to see in him? Confidence, funny, body language, etc. What a effing question. Have you handled that one, Tess?
No, not yet. Maybe just quickly,
Very at the
Stella,
very end.
Stella, if you're still here, maybe we're a little bit If you read up a couple of comments from there, Stella, I think she might have been a little bit offended when you made a comment about women, Australian women, a
Oh,
generalized comment about Australian women. So James has traveled a lot. Yeah, I think also, I'm not sure if you've traveled, Stella, but you might notice a difference between Australian men and other men as well. But yeah, please don't take that in offense. Yeah, James has a lot of stuff here, which is, just a lot of generalizations, but we love you, Stella.
yeah, I really want you coming back, Stella. Unfortunately, I was told the truth the whole time. I mean, Tess is an extreme. I don't know this. I haven't done it, so I can't comment with 100% certainty. I would bet a lot of money at pretty extreme odds that Tess is an extremely dateable Australian woman. It might have been because I lived in Bondi Beach. It could be my fault. The other thing with my comment about Australian women is what Tess said. Most of my whatever traveled, educated, cultured Australian female friends, they can't stand Australian men. You should hear them go to town on Australian men. They can't stand them. They can't stand them. They'd rather be with some penniless Brazilian guy who's actually a man than some Australian guy who earns 500,000 a year. Till social coach steps in and fixes that. Yeah, we literally had a woman in San Francisco who had a tech executive guy reach out and get coaching for him because he was ticked every freaking box, but he just wasn't a man. So yeah, when I put down or when I say generalizations about Australian women or American women or English women, um, that's very much reflected in, I mean, the sort of woman I'd be attracted to. That's very much reflected in their opinions on Australian men and American men and English men. It's not just Australians. So yeah, please, I'm sorry if I caused any offense to that. Yeah,
And
and
then,
one, so
sorry,
one of
go
my,
ahead, James.
this is
Go
quite
ahead.
interesting. One of my probably the most even. I don't say that. One of the most popular trainers ever. She said she'd never date a guy who hadn't worked overseas, who hadn't been born overseas, or hadn't traveled independently to third world countries for at least a year. If she goes on a date, she doesn't find that out, she wouldn't give a flying F if this guy's, a hedge fund manager who, looks like a model and is the sweetest, most lovely guy ever. She just wouldn't do it. Okie dokie. So, did I interrupt you from something, Tess? Go
No,
back.
no, that's all. No,
I guess if
I
a
thought
man
you.
approached you, what would you want to see in him?
Yeah,
Confidence,
yeah.
fun, body language, etc.
Yes, I'm not sure if you've been on one of our other Q&As, but confidence, absolutely. Confidence is huge. If if a guy approaches you and then he's like, hello, my name's so and so. It's just how am I supposed to handle that? I mean, I'm a pretty nice person. I'll talk to anyone, so I probably just feel sorry for him and be nice. But, if you're trying to make a strong first impression, confidence is huge. Yes. You at least want to be comfortable in your own skin, and enough to, yeah, to just give a strong introduction where you're smiling and, yeah, and yeah, giving a good impression. Funny, not so much. That's not too important. I think, being funny is in trying to make jokes which potentially don't land in the first however long it's too risky. Don't bother with that. I think being playful, as in not taking yourself too seriously, being comfortable with your weaknesses, and having a bit of witty humor, that's great. But don't try to go out of your way to be funny if you're not a funny person. And yeah, body language, of course, that's part of the full package. So yeah, confidence huge. But basically, yeah, if you can approach confidently and build strong rapport straight away, that's going to be great. But on top of that, if you're able to build chemistry and sexual tension straight off the bat, that's where you stand out from the crowd. So that's a lot of things: body language, speech, eye contact. It's the full picture. It's yeah, that's quite complex.
Good stuff, Tess. Great answer. Just a couple of things I might mention. I don't know if we put it in recently. We're having our best sale in 15 years, in part because I had a very, very low income year. So whatever revenue I get, I keep much more of it than the Australian taxman taking half. I take it out of the company. We're giving away the best piece of content we've ever done in terms of being seen by millions of people and people watching 100 times saying it changed their life without ever doing a boot camp or anything. So yeah, if you could put that into, um, and I just noticed we had a bunch of likes. Anything that if you want this available more, if you want more of Tess, if you potentially want to see more of my wonderful female coaches, not no one's quite as wonderful as Tess. I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but we've got some who are pretty effing wonderful. If you could like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff I should have done at the start, like all the other YouTubers. I'm not a very good YouTuber. That would mean the world to us. Tess, if you could remind me to say that at the start. Um, and and yeah, we're gonna have dramatically, hopefully we're gonna have dramatically better tech next time where it's like Tess and I are both on portrait, and we hope to have questions displaying on the screen, a whole bunch of new features. So yeah, hopefully these are going to get dramatically better. So yeah, and yeah, that sale is if you even thought about getting some coaching and you sort of had any respect for us, I just want to recommend you do that. The way it works quickly is we'll have a really quick conversation just to make sure you're a good fit and you're not going to weird my best female coach out. Then you'll get Tess for 45 minutes and she'll coach you. She'll give you a 7 to 10 point plan. Um, and yeah, that plan will be incredibly useful whether you do any work with us or not. And then from there, you get a whole bunch of sessions on Zoom, and then you can do the boot camp. You can do an option without the boot camp, which is much more cost effective for guys who don't make a lot of money. And it gives you an idea of what we can do for you. And then the boot camp does make it a bit more expensive because that's very expensive for me to put on with a bunch of models running around. And yeah, like, subscribe, you'll get more of these and you'll get more tests, you'll get more of the other female coaches. So that would be great. How are we going with the questions before I round out my list and then I'm going to put mine in the chat, which someone asked for. Um,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. A few times people have asked for your list. Did you get through your whole list, James?
no, no, I'll do that very, very quickly.
Oh, great. Cool.
So just make sure there's no questions left. So look,
Um,
YouTube said.
someone's asking how you turned back your grey. Do you
Okay,
have time for that?
can that be re-asked at the very end, just in case it's not interesting to guys?
Okay.
Basically, health, getting rid of an amber herd, or man through a bit of luck getting rid of an amber herd, but it was more to do with health. I got into a diet for mercury poisoning, and that created a whole bunch of miracles in my life, and I was having a very, very stressful time at that point too. Our business roared out of COVID, and then because of the construction boom and a couple of bad hires, we really fell in a bit of a hole. And then I couldn't get access to my best female coaches to do boot camps for quite a while because they had kids. So I went through a really, really tough time, a really tough time. But even while there's construction going on in my building and they kept saying I'd finish, sorry, I'm giving my life story. But then even that, my head just turned around. There might still be a bit underneath that, but I'm pretty convinced 54, there's very, very little gray. This thing, I don't know if I'll get rid of that. I don't know if that reduced, but certainly my hair went back.
Was,
Lucio.
yeah, that's a good one, James. I think that's the last question there from Lutor.
Okay, if there's any further questions, if you get them in now, I've got to I think I did the gray one. Um,
Yeah.
James, last YouTube said man needs status. How does he get that if woman doesn't know him? I think that's the question of the night. We need prizes for this. By the way you act in conversation, knowing what to do, escalate. To me, that's the question of the night. Sorry to anyone else who asked good questions, and we got it last. Um, I just had a little fright the internet gave out. That is the question of the night. That gets a round of applause. Thank you so, so much for that. Um, Oh, I'm passionate about this subject. This could be another rant, but hopefully a very useful rant. We might let Tess cover that first because we've got to get more of the
Ah,
formal 2 degrees. Um,
I was looking forward to hearing what you had to say, James. But yeah, how do you portray status when the woman doesn't know you? So basically, first of all, the way you dress, like the way you present yourself is huge. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be the most high status guy to give off an impression of high status. But if, and you know, and when I'm talking about high status, this doesn't mean you have to be walking around wearing some expensive suit and blah, 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 look like you're some CEO. It's more just that you are wearing clothes that fit you well and that complement your frame and um, and keep it simple as well. So basically, you want to give off the impression that the only judgment a woman can make is, oh, this guy looks great. He's well dressed. Um, Not that he's trying too hard or that or anything more than that, but that can give that and then confidence. And so your ability to show sort of leadership skills and be masculine, all of those things play into status as well. So if you like, women are somewhat hardwired to be attracted to the alpha male, let's say. So if you can um, present yourself in a way that is that yeah, that's displaying those qualities, then yeah, that's going to work well in your favor. James, anything to
Fantastic.
add to that?
Before I answer, we had a couple of times, we had a few times taken on the Monday, so we've put up at least one or two more for anyone who's interested, and I'll be available Tuesday as well. If those times don't work for anyone, just let me know. Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Thank you so much. Um, Status is something, I don't want to say fake, 'cause I don't like that word fake. Status is something you can absolutely fake. Um, One of the things I do, there's so much you can do. So, I mean, this is some amazing content. Like when I was doing bars, because I lived in America for a while, I'd come back to Australia and I'd tip the Australian barmaids. Definitely not the best looking guy in the place. Um, I didn't have beautiful women with me at that time because I was coaching a bunch of guys. I was with some, without being disrespectful, back in the early days, when I was getting referrals from someone else. I was with some pretty seriously dorky guys. Um, but yeah, because I tipped her, she's she's loving me. She's flirting with me. She's squeezing her boobs together. She's touching me. She's giving me all this attention. She's serving me before everyone else. So I tipped this girl like $1 on a $9 whatever drink I was having. Was I still drinking then? I wasn't even drinking. I just whenever I got water or something, I'd give her a tip or something. Might have been drinking for a while. And yeah, and I'd get all this attention. So I've just completely and utterly faked status just by giving a $1 tip. I probably slept with girls doing that. Um, Many things. I mean, you're in a you're in a local suburban bar in quite a nice area. And in that bar, there's a hedge fund manager, a private equity guy, there's a former professional Australia AFL footballer who now works as a surgeon. I'm just being ridiculous. There's a whole bunch of hot girls there. I'm looking for a man. And there's some, skinny little hipster guy who's still got pimples, who's living in his mum's basement, up the front playing 80s, 90s rock covers. Who do all the girls want to FUCK? The guy out the front with the guy out the front with all the attention. So yeah, I mean, one of the best ways is public speaking. Public speaking isn't like being Mick Jagger or playing an instrument in front of people, but yeah, I've got to be careful what I say on YouTube. Staff members rub their boobs against me in front of my two bisexual girlfriends, in front of big crowds. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. So I public speak, a whole bunch of guys are listening to me, and all these women are like throwing themselves at me, including random women who threw up who threw up. Sorry, I've had a rough time. They weren't in the crowd and they threw up. Who just rocked up there. So anything you can do for status. One of the things I do, I think I'm really good at, which is why I don't need to do many cold approaches is like I'm in Indonesia now trying to plan Bali boot camps and residentials. And there's a yoga studio, whatever, vegan restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always touching the staff, tipping them well, making friends with them. I'm sort of become friends with the chef who makes my food. I talk to him. He's a big, hunky Indonesian guy. We shake hands and stuff. All the women are looking at me going, this guy's the most confident man in the world. He knows everyone. Everyone loves him. Blah, 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 blah. And then because I'm a crazy healthy person, I order off the menu and they make me this huge plate of broccoli and stuff. So women are just sitting there, and I'm on my own the whole time because I'm really focused on my business now. And yeah, just women who are 22 are throwing themselves at me because I'm getting so much attention in that environment. So this is not from me. I think it's from Dr. David Buss. Um, I could have the wrong guy anyway. Um, Women are hyper sensitive to where energy goes. Men are hyper sensitive to big boobs and long legs and thick lips and thick hair and big eyes and hip to waist ratios. Women are hypersensitive to where energy goes. So if energy is going to you, you could be you could be short, you could be you know, bottom, leave aside the bottom 5%, you could be bottom 95% of ugly. You have a whole bunch of things wrong with you, but women are going to show interest. Again, you know, and when one woman shows interest, a whole bunch of other women show interest. So that's great. Um,
Yeah, social
um,
proofing, someone's commented. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're going on for a while now.
Yeah.
Men over 35, we should not feel any questions. Um, Yeah, thanks. Nobody's perfect. Okay, Stella, if you've got anything to add to how to whatever the question was to display status when you don't have any. Yeah, as I said, the guy playing guitar at a local bar, he could be a unemployed loser. Um, okay. And the most promiscuous guys who I learnt quite a bit off when I was hopeless, most of them were unemployed losers or barmen. I shouldn't even say some of the stuff on YouTube. That they weren't guys who ran hedge funds or were engineers or something. Those guys were all awful. None of them were any good compared to some of my mentors. Anyway, we'll get back to my points. So can anyone remember where I went up to? They
Um,
struggle to connect with women. I'm just going to fly through this, guys. They struggle to connect with women due to niche or intellectual interests. They've often been hurt by manipulative women, particularly if they're quite successful, and they now avoid intimacy. They're scared of them. The combination of lower, dare I say, the smart guys on computers thinking all the time, they probably have lower social skills vis-a-vis a barman or a guy who's worked in hospitality or many guys who've worked in trades, like plumbers, personal trainers. They have incredible social skills. They're talking to people the whole time. Why do personal trainers get laid so much? Because they're big, hunky, masculine guys? Maybe. I think it's they spend their whole time talking to people and they're very good at talking to people. Um, so yeah, they struggle to connect with women in most situations. They've been hurt by manipulative women and have held back, partially because they don't read signals as well. They don't have the social skills and they're more of a target because they've got more cash. Okay, this is huge. Men have no freaking idea how smart women are. Like, no freaking idea how smart women are. You might be whatever it is, 70 or 80% stronger in the upper body and 50% stronger in the legs. They're like 10 times stronger at reading signals, understanding what's going on, and knowing whether a guy's interested in them or knowing whether those two people over there are together. You just can't, and that's one of the reasons you need a great girl. If you want to be rich, you need a great woman. Absolutely, if I was dating Tess, which I'm not, but I'll use someone else. If I'm dating any of Max girlfriends who have half a brain, and I'm about to get into some business relationship with a guy, I take the guy out to dinner, and the girl sits there and says very little and just reads his body language. And as soon as the guy leaves, I go, "So, Susie, can I trust that guy?" Because they're like human lie detectors and they're so good at sensing energy. Why? Because they've walked around their whole life going, if they're hot like Tess, how do I go through life and not get raped today? So they have a lot of skills that we just don't have. I'm sorry for being crude about this. Um, they stay stuck in their work self. So many of them on computers, programmers, they really struggle to get out of programmer mode when they're interacting with people, unlike a waiter. They can act very serious or sterile on dates. They lack exposure to women. Many of them went through STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and medicine. And medicine. Oh my God, someone needs some sleep. What have I done wrong? Science, technology, engineering, and oh my God, too much construction going on around me. M, what's M stand for? Someone help me out. The village idiot here. Um, anyway, someone will help me out. What's the M stand for in STEM? Maths, maths. You idiot. Sorry about that. I can't believe that. What a fool. Um, they get frustrated by women's emotional tests and games expecting logic. That's probably one of the higher ones if you're not that experienced with women. Um, yeah, just their tests, their games. Thank you, Luke. Thanks for saving me. They just get really frustrated by that. So yeah, and they overplan and underact. So they spend whole time thinking about what's going on rather than actually being in the moment. Um, Stella's saying, sorry, your answers are so fast.
No, I
We,
think sorry, Stella and Martin having a little bit of conversation here. I think
oh, sorry.
Martin's also a fan of Stella, so
Yeah, Stella's been great. So we've got to make you a regular. We'll find some way to incentivize you and remunerate you. Anyway, I tend to be anyway, I think that's about time to probably wrap up unless there's any further questions, anything outstanding
yeah.
for Tess. I've got to share my points. Let me see if I can quickly do this.
Yeah,
Tess,
go ahead, James. I'll take over for a sec if you want to yeah,
yeah, go for it.
get your points in the chat because there are a few people who wanted that. Yeah, so basically guys, I think we're going to wrap up now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like hope you guys got a lot out of tonight. I've put my main pointers for why intelligent guys suck with women in the chat and James is about to do that as well. Thanks for all your awesome questions and your engagement. It means a lot to us. If you guys have any suggestions for things you'd like to see in the future, we've already had the suggestion, or we've had feedback that you guys like this format where we kind of give a topic for the night and base discussion around that, and then let the questions come out of that. That's been something you guys like. But if there's anything else you'd like to see, yeah, just feel free to add any comments in the chat or comment on this live once we're done. Yeah, we want to make this the best experience for you guys as possible. So, yeah, we really appreciate any feedback you guys have. And yeah, thank you so much for all your positive comments as well. That means a lot to us.
And we're virgins. No,
Yes, we're new to this.
we've only had sex 3 times. We're not very good at this. So any feedback you can have, any positive signals will be very good. Like that's why women like they're just trying to guide you to the clitoris and how to do it without being woeful. So yeah, so we need some moans of appreciation or disappreciation. That would be super helpful for us.
Yeah,
Hopefully not
if you got,
offended
oh,
by
sorry,
my
go ahead,
humor.
James. I'm cutting you off.
Um, dating coach, 10 out of 10. Tech guy, you screwed that up again.
I'm impressed with your multitasking here, James. I'll let you just get your last few points in. If you guys, yeah, also if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like us to base these on as well, that'd be great. Like we obviously want to make this relevant for you guys, so feel free to put that in the chat if there's something you'd really like us to give a lot of attention to. For some reason, it seems like a lot of people seem to ask questions about dating younger women. I don't know if that's something you want
oh,
to talk about,
yeah,
James.
I mean, that's something I've probably got some degree of expertise in, to put it very mildly. Particularly now I want kids and I'm in my 50s. Yeah, we might do that's a great topic for the future. We might do that very, very soon. Thank you, whoever contributed that. I've got to be very careful in the modern age because I can get absolutely hammered on that. Um, yeah. Again, I've traveled so much and I see the way people in third world countries and even villages and First Nation people do it, which is one of my favorite things to ever do, spend time in a third world village or with actual Aboriginals or people in, what do you call it? Anyway, I'll stop crapping on. Okay, just wrapping up. We're having pretty much the best sale in 15 years. If you'd put the links in for the final time, and you're going to save a ton of money because I had a very bad year because of a few things. Our best piece of content ever. You guys have appreciated this. It's probably vastly better than this off the top of my head, with Tess points and my points. We can give you that, and it's a much upgraded version of that. Sorry about the tech. We'll get that to you soon. Um, I'm telling myself to look at the camera. Anything if you're enjoying these, and many guys seem to be by the amount of time you're staying on, even though we're complete. This is our fourth sexual experience. Um, Anything you can do with like, subscribe, comments is going to get you more of these. It's going to get you more exposure to Tess. It's going to get you more exposure to me. It's going to get you more exposure to potentially Natalia, Val, potentially Jackie, and a whole bunch of other wonderful women. Yeah, there's so many really good trainers we've got who can Kota, she's a clinical psychologist and a model. Another Jackie's a clinical psychologist as well. So yeah, if you guys sort of support us and also book the calls with Tess, there'll be much more like that. And yeah, we should have better tech the next time. We're testing that for the first time to the US audience tomorrow. Oh, and yeah, don't sound like I'm selling stuff, but yeah, you guys have the opportunity to do this in Australian dollars. We're doing our first ever one of these to the US. The marketing seems to be working quite well with the thumbnail of Tess. Yeah, we could be in US dollars very, very soon. We've already sold a bit in US dollars. Anyway, don't want to leave it on that note. Thank you so, so much for this. Any feedback about other topics? That younger woman one was a ripper, if I can do it very, very carefully. And as usual, I'll just sign off by thanking Tess from the bottom of my heart. I said some unpleasant things that upset a woman who I'd love having back on and might even make face to face sometime. She sounds awesome. Yeah, Tess has been an angel. So thank you for helping me out when Indonesian internet went kaput. It took all my social skills to get online in 7 or 8 minutes. You've no idea the stuff I pulled off to actually make this happen. Again, a lot of it's just high level social skills, high level social intelligence, and being really kind and respectful to everyone, whether they're a waiter or whatever, or they're cleaning dishes, or whether they're, you know, a founder of PayPal or Michael Jordan or something crazy. Um, 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 uh, a lovely comment for Tess. Tess's wisdom is really astounding considering her young age. She's actually a lot older than she looks. I'm not meant to say this, but she's a yogi and she's got a healthy diet and she stays away from alcohol, and I shouldn't talk too much about her drug use, but they tend to be nature's drugs. So, sorry, am I going to get in trouble here? We can edit it after. See, I got the beautiful smile though. It was worth it. It was worth it. She's got quite the smile. The love of
Blushing.
my life. I used to say she had a flip top head because she had the biggest mouth. It was just, the stuff she could have. Anyway, I'm not a black guy. I didn't need the capacity of her mouth for different things. Michael Jordan might. Anyway, but yeah, Tessa's got one of those absolutely beautiful, beautiful smiles, which is and I think chances. So yeah, Tessa's wisdom is really astonishing given her young age. She's actually a lot more older than she looks, which is a compliment. Hopefully, I don't upset any women here who I'd love to have back. Simi, thanks, guys. Awesome live chat. Would be great if your next call can discuss a bit about handling women's tests and objections. Oh, dude, I'll think about it. We're gonna have to do the very watered down version, because yeah, I'm gonna piss a lot of people off if I do that. I'll keep it very. I'll try. That's a great. I'll put that on the list. Um, I've got the most amazing speech about it that I did, but unfortunately, I was scared of releasing when the whole stuff hit. Oh, I should just say for any women watching, I was a fan of Me Too for about a year because I've been in a company with a woman who slept with the managers and the executives, got promoted and then wreaked havoc, and it was a horrific place to work, and amazing women who were dramatically better than the women who were the managers just sat, and because they were a threat to managers, the female managers who bonked someone, that they basically destroyed careers of people much better than them. Sorry for the long rant. And sorry, I'm not a very good YouTuber. I should be looking at the screen when I say this. So huge fan of Me Too for, I don't know, 9 months or a year. I think what's her name? Fox News blonde girl whose face never changes. I can't remember. Someone. Megan Kelly, the one who only Rosie O'Donnell, that woman, whatever her name is. that Trump did, not that I think he's the greatest president on a few metrics, but yeah, he's a good comedian. Only resident on that woman. She said the Me Too movement was about power. It was about power. That was the abuse of power. She said that's what it was about. Anyway, I'm crapping on too much about this. Sorry. Um, Assume Tess is in her 20s. You'd think so. And face to face, she looks even younger too. Um, uh, Okay, I think that's where we sign off. Stella, she has a beautiful smile, reminds me of my dill. Uh,
Daughter-in-law.
oh, gotcha. I'm not good with these sort of modern generation acronyms. I've only really got two emojis in my vocabulary, so as all my staff know. Okay, you want to say anything before I sign off, Tess?
No, just thank you again, guys. And yeah, thanks for all those suggestions. Yeah, some of these topics, there's a lot of content. We can go down some rabbit holes with these things. So we're gonna have to put some consideration into what we decide to go with. But we appreciate all these suggestions. There's so much really valuable stuff we can give you guys there. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Make sure you jump on. And yeah, thank you again so much. It's been fun.
I'll do the YouTuber thing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the thumb sign, and book a call with Tess. You'll change your life. Yeah, I'm a good YouTuber now. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thanks, Stella. Love seeing you. Thanks, Luke. Thank you to Martin. Thank you for all our regulars. And we'll see you next time on a Social Coach live stream with the beautiful Tess and James. And we'll do a younger women's one soon. So bye for now.
Bye, guys. See you.
Oh, we're going to replay these to the US if anyone wants to ask questions. So we're doing what did we do last time? What hot women really want? What beautiful women really want? We're doing that to US tomorrow, but most of you will probably be at work. Anyway, bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, book a call, and we'll see you on the next one. So the reason I've got such a good voice, I call her Janine, is because when I started as a dating coach, I didn't have all these pretty girls. I didn't have all these pretty girls. So I had to pretend I was a pretty girl with long legs and a big ugly nose and a weird pointy chin. I've got nice thick hair though. And guys would come up to me and I'd go, hello, hello, how are you? And I'd talk to them and I'd do the role plays that I get beautiful girls to do now. So yeah, I probably do quite a good Janine. It's not because I've got the little closet issues I came out of. Anyway, if you could tell me if you liked my little impression of the first year or so of my dating coaching career, that would be awesome. Maybe people hate it. If I can get more than, thank you, Martin. Anyway, I'm done. I'm gone. This is going to get used against me if I get to any scale, so I might need to edit this out. Okay, ciao for now.
See you guys. Good night.